Hello everyone, welcome back to Base Damage, and welcome back to Community Fridays. This week we have a Fujimi list sent in by Joker, and this particular one, I've talked about with Dow before about this particular finisher that we're going to discuss in a little bit here, but I don't think I've ever showcased it in a deck profile or on a Community Fridays before, but either way, we're going to take a look at it today, so big thank you to Joker for posting this in the Discord. So let's go ahead and start with this. We do have the climax setup is 4 pants and then 2 of a very unique stock effect here. It is a double crit trigger, but it is on play, choose one character with a crit trigger in its icon in your waiting room, add it back to your hand, and choose up to 2 of your characters, and they get +1 soul till end of turn. Now this actually does matter for the finisher when we talk about that one, but we will discuss that in a moment here. Let's go and get past some of the other cards that are in this list. Now, this is a mono Fujimi list, so if it looks like, oh, random Saikano cards, yeah, that's why. It's just a mono Fujimi list. So, starting off, we have 2 copies of Sly Popular Light Novel Author Utaha, so 3295. If you have 4 or more Fantasia, Bunko, or game characters, this gets -1 level in your hand. And when this card is placed on stage from hand, you can discard a card. If you have 2 or more other characters, you can discard one. If you do, put up to 1 card from the top of your clock into a waiting room, and then choose up to 1 Fantasia, Bunko, or game character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So you get to heal and salvage, all for the low cost of just discarding 1 card from hand. So there you go. 3 copies of Reincarnated Princess and Genius Young Lady, which is, I believe, is the name of the light novel title or anime title or whatever that these 2 particular characters are from, as you're going to see several times throughout this particular deck. But it's Anesphia and Euphilia. If I mispronounce those, I do greatly apologize. Dow will probably butcher me later. Say 329k. If you have 4 or more other Fantasia Bunko characters, this gets -1 level while in your hand. And if you have 3 or more other characters, this gets 1500 power and character encore, just any Fantasia Bunko or magic character. So obviously, basically any character in the deck. On attack, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's waiting room and put it on top or at the bottom of their deck. So, now the next one does not have a climax combo despite having one. You're not running it, you're just running it for the on-play effect. 3210k, Pure White Dress Sistine. On play, choose one of your opponent's characters, bounce it back to their hand, and this gets 2k power till end of turn. So just a little bit of removal there, totally fine, always good to have. Now, the meat and potatoes of this, the whole point of this finisher, and the reason why I pointed out the climaxes first, is this particular level 3. 4 copies of Dreams Chased Together, Anesphia, and Euphilia. This is a 3210k with a very interesting clause for the climax combo. You do get to heal 1 on play, but the particular line here, I just want to go ahead and talk about it real quick. So when it sounds like the effects are really, really broken, there is a drawback. Now, for anyone who has played Weiss long enough, you more than likely know what dual laners are. But just for the people in the back who may not know what dual laners are referred to in Weiss any effects that specifically states you have to have 1 or less other characters in center stage, basically resulting in you only controlling 2 characters in your center stage as opposed to a full 3. So there are several effects like this in the game, whether they be climax combos, whether they be just, like just regular level 1s. I think one of the first ones that introduced this to me was Tokyo Revengers, but I know Gun Gale has them. There's other dual laner effects throughout several other sets in Weiss. This in particular is a finisher with it. I just wanted to point that out before we get into this. So keep that in mind. You're only probably summoning like 2 copies of this. You're not tri-fielding this. Otherwise, you don't get a climax combo at all. Just pointing that out. So during your climax phase, when Fortune Bringing Rainbow, which is this one, which is why I want to say, so you're only summoning 2 characters. So the whole choose 2 of your characters, they get +1 soul. It's only going to be to those 2. So, and if you have another Fantasia Bunko and 1 or less other characters in center stage, so the dual laner condition, choose one of the following effects and perform it. Either look at up to 6 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, choose up to 6 cards amongst them, but put them into your opponent's waiting room, and return the rest to your opponent's deck and shuffle their deck. this is a huge mocha effect. Typically, you only see this go up to 4 cards to basically go, oh, let me look at the top 2 or 3 or 4 cards and go, oh, I see some climaxes in here. Let me go ahead and be gone, thoughts, get them out of there. But being able to dig 6 for this is honestly kind of crazy. The secondary effect is you can pay the cost to pay 1, pitch 2 cards. If you do, deal 3 damage to your opponent 2 times. Now, let's go ahead and quote Phil Swift here. That's a lot of damage. So being able to just go, okay, cool, either I know my opponent's already out a whole bunch of climaxes, or do one or the other. Do like this, do the first, the top check 6 effect, like, oh look, there's 3 climaxes, let's just get them out of there. Or you could just do the burn effect, which is still a ton of damage coming at your opponent, considering this is also going to be sitting at a 3 soul. So you're going burn, 3 all in one shot, just really crazy there. So that's why those are so strong, is that restriction of the dual laner restriction of only being able to have one other character. But if you have 2 of these, you're able to do both of these climax combo effects, and they're just really strong. So moving on, 4 copies of Insuppressible Confession. I don't know how to pronounce their names exactly. Please forgive me on that one. 2/16k if you have 1 or less other characters in center stage. This gains 4k. So another dual laner example. Meaning if you have 2 of these on field, they'll each be at a 10k. At the beginning of your attack phase, if this card is standing and you have 1 or less other characters in center stage, put up to 3 cards from the top of your deck into your stock. So you could just straight up, in addition to their attacks, generate 8 stock in 1 turn. Now, 6 of that is blind. I'm just saying. Blind stock is a thing. If you can pay it out instantly, go for it by all means. But just saying. So, really cool there. 3 copy of Duke's Daughter Tina, 2/115. Place on stage from hand, you may pay 2. If you do, choose up to 2 Fantasia, Bunko, or Magic characters in waiting room, return them to your hand. Very easy, very simple there. Now, the level 1 climax combo does not have the dual laner restriction or condition on it, so it is a 1/04k. When this attacks, if together with the Envious Girl, which is the pants trigger, is in your climax area and you have 2 or more other characters, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 Fantasia, Bunko, or Magic character, reveal to your opponent, put in your hand, put the rest to waiting room, and when this attacks, choose 1 of your Fantasia, Bunko, or Magic characters, and it gets 1500 power till end of turn. So you can just give it to itself, but if there happens to be an open lane that you can swing into, then you can swing and give the buff to someone else. So, but if you give it to herself, she becomes a 55 with the pants, a 65 for the turn. So, barring other buffs. So, being able to just once again dig, get whatever you need, really nice there. So, then 1 copy of Unbreakable Bond, Elise. Once again, all the names in here, I have no clue what they are. 0015. When this is placed on stage from your hand, you can put a Fantasia, Bunko, or Star Spirit character from your waiting room at the bottom of your clock. If you do, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a Fantasia, Bunko character, put it into your hand. So you get to deal yourself a damage to possibly draw a card. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1, pitch 1. If you do, choose a character in your waiting room, return it to hand. So also a drop salvager on top of everything else. So my mouse is acting weird there. 1 copy of Gunslinger Lily. This is a really neat little promo here. 0015, during your turn it gets 1000 power, and when this is placed on stage from your hand, this is really tough text to read, by the way. You can pay 3. Yeah, okay. If you do, your opponent puts all of their stock into their waiting room and puts the same number of cards from the top of their deck into their stock. So, stock swap for the win. There you go. 4 copies of Isuzu Changing Clothes. One of the Amagi Brilliant Park. This is one of the coolest, animes ever. It's so good. 0015. Place on stage from hand if your opponent's center stage has 1 or less characters. You may choose 1 cost 0 or lower character in your opponent's center stage and put it into their waiting room, just outright killing something. So once again, typically this is just oh, you're level 0s or something, I'm just going to nuke something. But this is funny enough, this is an anti-dual laner card. If they have a 1/0 dual laner setup, you can just straight up nuke one of them, and it's kind of funny. Anyway, when this card is put into your waiting room from your stage, you can pay 1, put the top card of your deck into your clock. If you do, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 2 Fantasia, Bunko characters amongst them, reveal them to your opponent, add them to your hand. So this is the Aqua Ricky. So Once again, I don't know what my mouse is acting up for. It's being really weird. 3 copies of Peaceful Days Forever, Kaname and Teletha. If I'm mispronouncing that, I do apologize. 001K, you get +1 to the limit of the number of cards in your hand. I feel we don't get this effect on enough cards, and I really like the increasing of hand size limit. Really cool. If your waiting room has 4 or more events, you can play events from your hand without fulfilling color requirements. Very nice there. I don't think he's running like no other events, so that particular effect doesn't matter, but, whatever. Brainstorm, pay 1, rest this, mill 4 for each climax salvage bracket character. Very simple, very effective. And like I said, the plus hand size is very nice. Otaku putting on airs Eriri is a 0025. All of your other characters get the following ability, which is they can't side attack, totally fine. But this gets the effect when placed on stage from your hand. Choose one of your characters, and that character gets the following ability till end of turn, which is what is referred to as a clean cut ability. When the battle opponent becomes reversed, choose one of your other characters, rest it, and move it to an open position of your backstage. So, being able to utilize that and just save your level 1 combos or whatever is just very nice. So, but you also get to choose what you give it to, which is kind of funny there, but still. Next, we have 1 copy of Witch of Teasing Natsumi. If I'm not mistaken, this is from Data Live. 00500. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a climax. If you do, choose a Fantasia Bunko character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. Act, this is something you can activate during your main phase. Pay 1, put this into your waiting room, choose 1 Fantasia Bunko character with a level equal to or lower than your level in your hand, and put it in the stage position this card was in. Now, you can use this at level 3 to obviously summon something like your finisher for a lesser stock amount. So, 2 copies of True Wish Rumia is a 002K. Placed on stage from hand, choose one of your other Fantasia Bunko characters, and that character gets plus 1000 power till end of turn. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can put one other character from your stage into your waiting room, so you can sack something else. If you do, search your deck for a climax, reveal it to your opponent, and then you pick 1 climax in your hand and put them back into your deck. So you climax swap from the deck, which is really funny. But 2 of those. 4 copy of one of the coolest looking arts in this entire set. I love this. A Brief Respite Eve. It is a 002K. If all of your characters are Fantasia Bunko or Magic, this gets 1000, so she's constantly a 3K. When this card attacks, you may reveal up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. If you revealed 1 or more cards, choose one of the one Fantasia Bunko character amongst them, put them into your hand, and then discard 1 card. So you get to dig and hand filter. Very nice. And lastly, 1 copy of, if it pulls up, is it pulling up? There we go. I don't know what that was. So it's not just my mouse, it's just Decalogue in general is acting up tonight. 1 copy of Gentle Smile Rumia, 001K. When this is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1, put a Fantasia Bunko from hand to waiting room. If you do, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose 1 card amongst them, put it into your hand, and put the rest into your waiting room, which is really nice considering typically when you see this type of effect, it's usually like dig 3, so dig 4 is very nice. And once again, just showing off the climaxes, 4 copies of Together with the Envious Girl. This is just really cute art. And then 4 copies of Fortune Bringing Rainbow. So that is going to be it for us today. So thank you very much, Joker, for posting this in the Base Damage Discord. If you want to submit your own deck profiles for possible Community Fridays videos, feel free to do so. There will be a link in the description to join the Discord, and there will be 2 different channels in the Discord. I do prefer using deck log links because, once again, I can pull up stuff very nice front and center, and it looks very wonderful presentation-wise. But you can post it in either the Decklist Submissions channel or in the Community Fridays channel specifically, whichever one you want. But if you post a Decalogue link, it is much more likely to be showcased. So thank you very much once again. Thank you to Joker, and y'all stay safe, and as always, remember to stay based.